Hi, folks. I'm Joe Wesley of J&L Creative Solutions, and this podcast is about keep on pushing. And this is a collective effort, I'll say, with Devon. And he is a guy who is a Jamaican, happens to be part of the original bobsledding team, and then co-captain for the 2 times beyond that. They were part of the team. So the concept being, first off, I'm a little bit early to say this differently. And I do this deliberately to get some commercial break time in. First off, thank you for those who are seeing us for the first time. We do appreciate you visiting us. Also, thank to you who are visiting us more than one time. We do appreciate that. The concept here is we want to share with you the value beyond the traditional value of Olympic level athletes in terms of representing the American work ethic. So what I'm doing, along with Devon, who's part of our team, is to share with you the struggles that these type of athletes go through on a regular basis. Now, honestly, it's typical for any industry where you have people top level functioning to get ahead. Before I go further, I have to do a commercial break again. Please remember to like us, to subscribe to us. We offer volunteer. We ask that you have any questions, any comments, please share that back with us. These videos or podcasts beyond the moment of now at 3 o'clock Eastern time. We also will look at the reruns, and you can look at us through Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We do ask if you look at us through YouTube, please sign in first. That way you'll be able to leave a comment. We can get back to you because we do audit the rerun versions of it also. That being said, what we're trying to do here is let you know that we see athletes from a different perspective. And what I mean by that is that when the Olympics occur, and it's every 2 years, it's every 4 years per season. So winter to winter is 4 years, and summer to summer is 4 years, but the interlude, I guess, every 2 years thereafter. So the concept being is that, by example, when COVID-19 occurred at its full bloom, it's still occurring. During the Summer Olympics to be held in Tokyo, the media was saying that the premier still didn't want it, maybe within 6 weeks of the event. The IOC really did want it. So there was question whether it was going to occur or not as little as 6 weeks before. Now, in my book, that's a lot of stress for an athlete to focus on. And what Devon had indicated, watching the summer trials leading into this 6-week factor, that there were more records set during the summer trials than in the history of the Olympics. I find that to be absolutely outstanding because even with the unknown, and to put it in perspective, many of my business associates, when COVID hit us, understandably, a lot of us were in shock. A lot of us were disrupted. A lot of us want it to get back to normal as quickly as possible. And a common phrasing was, I'll be so glad when this gets back to normal. Or when the first decline of COVID was happening, business owners were saying, I'm beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel now. Now, I happen to be a biology major. And quite frankly, to me, it's like 2 dinosaurs sitting shoulder to shoulder and saying to each other, I'll be glad when this cold spell snaps. No, it's going to be here. Natural reaction, unexpected, undesired. But through all of this, the Olympians, the Olympian athletes, were still working hard. They made a decision. We can either back off, because it takes, normally after you do a competitive episode, you give your body the much needed rest. That may take several weeks. I suspect, I'm not an athlete. I suspect it takes longer to get your body up to peak. And pretty much every physiologist I've heard says you can't maintain your body at peak continually. Physically, mentally, the stress is just too much. So for these athletes to focus and to keep moving forward, to keep on pushing, I find extraordinary. And so my metaphor here, or my example here, is that athletes top notch live a COVID-19 lifestyle all the time. And not just the top notch athletes. And to put that in perspective, when I say athletes, our athletes, there's some countries where they will almost take the baby out of mom's womb, put the infant in an institution of sorts or building, feed them, clothe them, educate them, and all they have to do is to learn how to play the sport of their country. It works well for them, no argument there. But meanwhile, our athletes have to pay for their education, they have to pay for their training, they have to pay for their equipment, they have to pay for any injuries they may have, still have to work to pay for their rent, for their schooling. That's a lot, and still look to achieve notoriety, accomplishments well enough to be on that podium, or even to qualify to be in the race itself is extraordinary. Now, when I say this, many people treat, through my observation, will treat the Olympics like Mother's Day or Valentine's Day, that for us men, we'll make the reservations, we'll buy the candy, we'll buy the flowers. We might even open the car door for the love of our life as we take them out. And then next day it's all what it was before. And I'm not in any way justifying it or supporting it. It's a natural response I've seen in human beings. But the challenges of an Olympian is not just one time every 2 years. Ongoing. They struggle, they train, they look to compete for the first time, they look to come back and compete again. And yes, there are those people who maybe make the side of the Wheaties box, but most athletes don't. And my concept is, because of the struggles to meet the need of the athleticism part of their life and the day-to-day part of their life, the only jobs they can realistically take is pushing box carts around and lifting boxes and sliding in envelopes, because their lifestyle is so irregular. They're not hired on a 9-to-5 job format. And I understand that concept, but I really believe, along with Devon and people of my group, that we are really underutilizing our athletes and their skills. I'm going to say, as a sound break, I'm assuming Devon had some technical difficulties getting in because we had talked about this subject matter, and we'll come back to it. These things happen. But our organization, the American Way Challenge, we also push forward. And things come up you don't expect. So I'm doing a monologue today. Please bear with me, because I'm not the athletic side of this program, but I am the observant side of this program. And what I'm saying here is, what we're trying to accomplish is to give you an understanding of these top-level athletes. And certainly, Devon, having been a bobsledder, been an Olympian 3 times around, captained the last 2 sessions he was a part of it. And that's he's calling me now. I'm going to take off my headphones. Please hold on, folks. Hi, Devon. Okay, I'm online covering for us. Would, It's funny, folks. Let's get my headphones back and play. We had a technical difficulty beyond our control. I just got a call from Devon, and he will be on very shortly. Again, technical issues. So the concept here being that these athletes live a COVID-19 lifestyle on a regular basis. Uncertainties, unknowns, challenges. And to get to where they are, they understand by their work ethic, by their mindset, you have to keep pushing forward. So we believe once our organization, the American Way Challenge, can put in front of you, the audience, the bigger, stronger value of their existence to what we call the American work ethic, that these young people could very well be avatars. They could be mentors. They could be role models, not only for our company. We phrase that, our companies, your companies. We do rah-rah speeches, let's get organized and let's get psyched up and let's kick rear end to make things happen. Certainly coming out of COVID, I've even read articles about the fatigue of that approach. But it's far more meaningful if a 16-year-old who just won a gold medal, gymnast, despite a broken ankle, landing on one foot, if that young lady who had every reason not to get on board gets on board, well then certainly, hello Devon, how are you doing?
Good morning, happy Easter, happy
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. It's not Hanukkah.
No, it's not Hanukkah.
Passover.
Yes, thank you very much. I was just testing you on that. He's a sharp guy. I was talking in...
Yes, here I'm an island guy and I'm on island time.
Fair enough, I hear that. I was saying you had technical difficulties, these things happen. I was saying we could have easily, quote, not show up today, folks, but we're walking the talk.
Yeah.
That unexpected things happen and we keep on pushing. So the advantage of this Devon flowing in, at this point, you get to hear him again in two more weeks.
People don't have to be bored to death by you. That's real advantage.
Yo, he'll be a breath of fresh air. So what we were talking about, Devon, we'll go slightly off our program because in all fairness to our audience, we've got 4 minutes. I was talking about the mindset of athletes of top level format. And I was asked because I had to assume that you were born to be an athlete, you were born to be excellent. But you're saying there's much more to that?
Yeah, I think, well, it does require, some basic talent, right? Some talent for you to, we're talking about becoming a high level athlete now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But if you think about it, and I truly believe this, that some of the most accomplished athletes in the world in their respective sports aren't necessarily the best athletes ever in their sport.
Mm-hmm.
Just that they had the talent and they put the work in it. But it's the same across anything. Like the most gifted, the best surgeons are not necessarily the most naturally gifted ones, or the ones who work on it. The best accountants are not necessarily the ones who are most
right
to do that, right? So in everything in life, man, you have to, talent will fail you without the work. That's the bottom line.
Okay. And to do the work, you have to make the decision to get it done.
Yeah. It requires that commitment. I was just talking, I'm getting ready to speak to some kids in Missouri next month, yeah. And I was, having a brief, and I told a story that I told you about my first day of track when I missed the practice. I don't know why, don't remember why, but I was so worried that the coach would think I wasn't committed, and I got into training, and you could see as the first month progressed, kids were just dropping one by one, until, by the next year, I was the only guy on the track team. And so it requires that level of commitment. And I was the most dominant athlete in my event in school, but I am under no illusion that I was the most talented. I just know that I outworked everybody, and the results, showed.
And this goes to Devon's theme of keep on pushing. Again, if you missed the story there, that he missed the first day of practice. He tells me he was afraid he would be reprimanded, maybe even dropped when he showed up the second day. It turned out that gradually all of the athletes dropped out who were on the team, and even the coach dropped out. So he ended up coaching himself.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of drive. And that's what we're talking about here, that we don't give up on ourselves. We don't stop. Devon would say we keep on pushing, and he walks the talk. For those who may not know, he's also a motivational speech coach. Am I getting those words correctly?
Motivational speaker.
Motivational speaker.
I can, and I've informally been, coaching people to give them tips on speaking, but I haven't been doing that formally yet.
So the nice thing about having Devon on board of our team, he has an insider's perspective, and he can take that viewpoint, that perspective, his own success, and then share it back with us also. So I'm lucky to have him sometimes. It depends on where we are in this.
Yeah.
Overall, it's a good thing to have him as a part of our team because it just brings a perspective. And the point here is, folks, that it's not what's good for the athletes per se. It's what's good for our country, what these athletes can provide. So we'll be talking more about let's make better use of them as avatars of, again, the American work ethic. And we will every 2 weeks be a part of this. We ask you to subscribe, to please share your questions. You can look at us not at 3 o'clock if it's not convenient, but at other times of the day through LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Please sign in when you look at us through YouTube so you can leave comments. We really encourage that. Yeah. Any final thoughts? I know you're just in the door, Devon, but something to take us home with today?
Yeah, well, just to kind of go back to the theme, man, that you started, you could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't work to develop that talent, then it will be all wasted, right? So my encouragement to you is that, and to all of us is, we should have a level of curiosity about what it is that we could possibly accomplish if we just try. Mm-hmm. Right? You can't ask that much more of yourself than that. Just try, see how it works, right?
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah. Have an open mind, minimally have an open mind, and then pursue. Yeah. Thank you very much, folks, for listening. We look forward to your comments, your thoughts, and you visiting us the next time around. Indeed. Take care.
Keep on pushing.